Good morning, student. In this video, I shall discuss the asexual reproduction in animal and plant. Now, first of all, I shall discuss about the asexual reproduction in case of animal. How this asexual reproduction occurs in animal. Normally, in case of animal, the lower organism or lower animal, this type of reproduction is normally observed. For example, the first one, that is the budding. This budding is one of the important asexual mode of reproduction, and normally the common example of this budding process, that is your hydra. Hydra is an cellulose, and in this case the hydra normally develop the bud, a small bud. Suppose this is the hydra, mother hydra, and in this mother hydra a small bud appears in the lower part of this hydra, and gradually this lower bud is normally developed and it will grow in size, and after that now it matures and it detached from the mother body. Suppose this is the mother body and this is the tentacle, so it appeared here, and after that it detached from the mother body, and the mother hydra is now separated from the daughter hydra, and this is the daughter hydra, and this daughter hydra, it is developed here. So this is the mother hydra and this is the mother hydra, and a small outgrowth which appears in the lower part of the hydra, that is the bud. It is called the bud, and this bud gradually grow in size and finally it is detached from the mother. So that small hydra, it is called the daughter hydra. Now this daughter hydra is developed or detached from the mother hydra. So this process of formation of new young hydra from the mother hydra, it is called the budding, and this budding process normally it reproduces their young one. Now second, another important mode of asexual reproduction which occur in the animal, that is the gamete formation. Gamete formation in sponges. Normally the sponge is the most primitive type of animal, and here the freshwater sponges, normally the freshwater sponges, and common example, that is your spongilla, and this spongilla normally reproduced by the method of gamete formation. Then what is a gamete and how this gamete is formed there? In case of sponges, this gamete, it is a spherical body, and this is called the micropyle, and normally here an outer covering, that is the outer membrane or outer covering is there. This is the outer membrane and this is the inner membrane, and these are the different archaeocyte cells. These are the archaeocytes are present here, and these archaeocytes here normally different functions they are performed, and normally this gamete later on develop into the new sponge. So this process of development of new sponge from the gamete, that is called gamete formation in case of sponges. Now another important mode of asexual reproduction which occurs in the animal, that is your fragmentation and regeneration. Now this is one, that is your fragmentation and regeneration. Normally this fragmentation and regeneration, they go side by side, and a common example, it also occurs in case of hydra and also occurs in case of planaria. And in this case what happens? either in hydra or planaria if by any means they are splitted into different fragments or different parts, then each fragment develop into a new organism. So this process is called fragmentation and simultaneously the regeneration. Now, suppose in case of hydra, this is one hydra, and by some means if it is normally split into three parts, suppose this is the upper part, this is the upper part having the tentacles, and this is the middle part, and this is the lower part. So these are the three parts which are normally split from one another. Now gradually what happens, this upper part, it develops the lower part and the whole organism now forms. So this is a new hydra. And this is the second part or the middle part, and this middle part normally regenerate the upper part as well as the lower part. Then the tentacles develop here. This is the upper part and this is the lower part. So both upper and lower parts are regenerated here. And in this case, what happened? The upper part was there and the lower part was regenerated. But in this case, if lower part is here and this lower part, it normally regenerates the upper part up to the tentacle. So that is why in this case what happened? The new hydra are developed from the different parts of the mother hydra when it is splitted by any means. Like this, the planaria also reproduce in this method, or when this planaria split into different fragments. Now each fragment, the upper part develop the lower one, then the middle part, then develop the upper as well as the lower part, and the lower part it develop the upper part. So this is in this way. Normally the planaria also produce the new young planaria by the method of fragmentation and regeneration. So these are the common methods of the asexual reproduction normally occurs in case of lower animals. And in case of higher animals, normally this whole organism regeneration, or that is called the asexual reproduction, is normally not observed. Now we shall now discuss the asexual reproduction, how it occurs in case of plants. Now, in case of plants, normally the vegetative mode of propagation, or it is commonly called the asexual mode of reproduction in case of plant. And the plants normally have two types of parts in their body. Some parts are called the vegetative parts and other parts are called the reproductive part. The vegetative and the reproductive part. And the vegetative parts are commonly your stem, root, leaves, etc. The stem, root, leaf, etc. Sometimes the buds, and all these are normally the vegetative parts of the plant. They normally do not take part in the sexual reproduction. But the reproductive part, which you can say the sexual reproductive part, that is commonly called the flower. And sometimes the flowers are either unisexual or bisexual, whatever the case may be, but this helps in the process of sexual reproduction. But these vegetative parts, they are normally responsible for the asexual reproduction or vegetative propagation in case of plant. And the structures are sometimes different, sometimes the stem, root or leaves directly, but sometimes there are so many other vegetative parts which normally help in the process of vegetative propagation. For example, your rhizome, stem, corm, stem we have already mentioned, corm, bulb, bulbil, runner, stolon. Of course, these are the different modified form of stems or other parts of the plants, but these vegetative parts also responsible for the mode of asexual reproduction in case of different plants. For example, the rhizome. Rhizome is commonly found in the ginger and banana. From the rhizome, normally the buds are developed, and from the buds the new ginger normally form. And without any flowering or without involvement of the seeds, the new plants are developed from this ginger, and that is why it is called the rhizome produced new plant. Then these rhizomes are responsible for this asexual mode of reproduction. Now next here, sometimes the small stems or the rudimentary stems which are present in some parts, and in case of potato, as we know, potato tuber, it is nothing but a stem. It is not a root but a stem. And this potato tuber, they have the eye buds in it. Then these eye buds normally develop the new plant, and this mode of reproduction is the asexual mode of reproduction, and from the eye buds of the potato tuber or potato stem, the new potato plants are developed. In case of colocasia, the corm which is there, it is an underground part, and from the corm of the colocasia, the new plant developed. So that is why it is also another propagule from which the new plants are developed. Next one, that is the bulb of onion. As we know, this is the onion and this is the stem actually here. And these are the scaly leaves, and these swollen leaves are there, and from this, from the bulb of the onion, normally the new plants develop. So that is why this is another propagule from which the new plants are developed in the asexual mode. Now another, the bulbil. This bulbil is present in case of agave, and from the bulbil the new plants develop, and this mode is the asexual mode of reproduction, and the new plants are developed from bulbils of the agave plant. There are the runners like your oxalis. Their stems are normally moved just above the soil, and when they are moved, then from different parts of this runner, the new plants are developed. So that is why in case of oxalis, the new plants are developed from the runner part, and that is why it is an asexual mode of reproduction in this plant. Now in case of jasmine, jasmine is having the stems which are normally little bit flexible, and when they move towards the ground, when it touches, here the roots develop and the new plants develop here. So this jasmine is a flexible stem plant, and from it the new plant develop. And this is the new plant develops from the stolon of the jasmine. Now sometimes the new plant develops from the sucker of the chrysanthemum. In the chrysanthemum plant, the suckers are there, and these suckers are normally develop the roots, and from this sucker the new plants develop. Now in case of Eichhornia, Eichhornia is a plant which is normally semi-aquatic, or normally in the aquatic areas or the swampy area, marshy areas are present. In case of Bengal, it is very predominantly found, and which is also called the terror of Bengal, because whenever they grow in a particular area, they never remove from that area. So that is why this offset of the, suppose this is one Eichhornia, then this is the offset, this is another Eichhornia, then another Eichhornia, and this part is called the offset. And from this offset, normally new plant develops. And this mode of reproduction, it is the asexual mode of reproduction, and it is very fast, and wherever the swampy area is there, their growth is very fast, although the flowers look beautiful, but they never remove from that particular area. So that it becomes a problem for the particular area. That is why it is called the terror of Bengal, because it is very difficult to remove from that particular area. Now, sometimes the stem cuttings are directly used to produce the new plant. For example, in case of sugar cane, there is no flower or fruit or seed, but the sugar cane, this is the node, and this is another node, and from this node, these are the eye buds are there, and from the eye bud, the new plants develop. So that is why, by cutting the stem from here, the buds are used to grow the new plant. So this is why it is called the stem cutting, which is used to develop the new sugarcane plant. Now, then in case of dahlia, dahlia having a very beautiful flower, but it does not have the seeds. So that is why the new plant always develop from the roots, because the dahlia, root of the dahlia is very swollen like this, and these are the organ for variation when the plant dies, and the next season from the root the new dahlia plants develop. So that is called the root tuber, and from the root tuber the new dahlia plant develops. Now in case of bryophyllum, which mostly observe, suppose this is the bryophyllum leaf, and in the notch of the bryophyllum there the buds appear, and from these buds the bryophyllum, new bryophyllum plant develops. Suppose this is the new bryophyllum plant develops here. So new plants are developed from the leaves of this bryophyllum. So these are the different organs of the or different vegetative parts of the plant from which the new plants develop. Now we shall see some of the figures now how they develop. Look at the figure. This is the figure of rhizome of ginger, and which is the vegetative reproductive part of the ginger. Okay, so this rhizome is the vegetative propagule, and look at the bud here, and from the bud it will grow into a new plantlet, and this is detached from the mother's body and it develops into a new plant. So that is the mode of asexual reproduction through the special propagule, that is the rhizome. Now look at the figure here. It is the stem tuber of potato. The potato, which is also a underground stem, and it is the vegetative propagules of this plant because it does not bear any flower or seed. So that is why the eyes, or you can say these are the eye buds, and these eye buds actually responsible for the production of the new plant, and this germinate into the new plant, and the root and the shoot develop from it. So that is why this part helps in the process of vegetative propagation in case of potatoes. This is the corm of colocasia. It is also present underground, and this corm normally is a vegetative propagule for this plant because the new plants develop from this corm. And look at here in this figure, these are the some scale leaves are there, and these are the nodes, and internodes are there, and from where normally a new baby plants actually appear from the bud, and it will grow into a new plant and detach from the mother plant, and it will develop into a new plant. So that is why here the corm act as the vegetative propagule in case of colocasia. Now this is the bulb of onion. So onion is also a plant, and here this onion bulb actually act as the vegetative propagule for it, and it helps in the production of the new plant in the vegetative way. So this is the bulb, and look at here, this is the root and stem, and these are the buds, and these buds which actually present here just above the stem, and these buds normally grow into the new plant, and the new plant detached from it, and they will independently develop into the new plant. So that is why the bulb of onion act as the vegetative propagule for the development of the new plant. Now this is the bulbil of agave, and this bulbil of agave also helps in the production of the new plant in the vegetative way. So that is why it acts as the vegetative propagule for the production of the new plant. From this structure you can observe here how the new plant will develop from here, and this new plant detached from the mother plant, and it normally develop into the new plant. And this process of asexual reproduction occurs here through the bulbils of this agave. Now look at this plant. This is the oxalis plant, and this oxalis plant, it has the runner. Look at here, the stem is modified into the runner, and this moves in the horizontal way, and in the runner normally the roots develop, and from the roots in the same point the shoot also develop, and gradually it detach from the mother plant, and it develop into the new plant. So that is why this runner act as the vegetative propagule in case of oxalis. So it helps in the production of the new plant from the mother plant from the runner. So that is why it acts as the vegetative propagule. Now this is the jasmine plant. This jasmine plant having the stems are weak and normally they are flexible, they bend towards the soil, so it is called the stolon. And this stolon of the jasmine plant or jasminum plant, normally when it touches to the ground, in this stolon the roots are developed, and the development of the roots normally it attaches to the soil here, and if it is detached from the mother plant, then it develop into the new jasmine plant. So that is why this jasmine plant here normally propagates or produce the new jasmine plant from its stolon. So that is why stolon act as the vegetative propagule in case of jasminum. Now this is the chrysanthemum plant, and here it has so many suckers which are developed from this stem, and these suckers which normally when developed in a particular part, in the upper part it develops the other branches and the leaves. So when it detaches from the mother plant, it develops into a independent new plant. So that is why in case of chrysanthemum, normally the sucker act as the vegetative propagule and helps in the production of the new plant. Look at the figure. It is the Eichhornia plant, which is commonly called the terror of Bengal. It is very commonly found in the swampy area and the marshy areas in the Bengal, in the lowland areas, and due to its very high rate of growth, they flourish in a very high speed in that particular area, and they absorb the nutrients from the soil very quickly, from the water very quickly. Of course, they also absorb the pollutant. It helpful for this. Now it has the offset which normally grows in horizontal way, and this offset after growing certain distance, the roots develop from here and the shoot also develop from here. So that is why when it is detached from the mother plant, it develops into an independent Eichhornia plant. So that is why the offset of the Eichhornia plant, it acts as the vegetative propagule for this plant, and it produces new plants in a very rapid rate and in all directions. That is why this offset acts as the vegetative propagule and asexual reproduction in case of Eichhornia. Now look at this figure. This is just the part of an sugarcane plant, or it is the stem cutting of the sugarcane plant, because there are so many nodes and internodes are there, and in the nodes there are some eye spots, and this is called the bud, and these buds normally appears here, and from this bud the new plant develops. So that is why these adventitious roots which are developed here, this gradually detach from the mother plant and it will develop into a new plant. So this is called the vegetative propagule in case of sugarcane. So sugarcane asexually reproduce or produce the new plant by this method from the stem cutting. Next, it is the dahlia plant, which bears a very beautiful flower, brightly colored flower, and very large in size as well. And but they do not bear the seeds, but the new plants developed from the underground root tuber. So these root tuber, which are swollen part, which are present underground, and these root tuber, when the stem die or when the plants normally die after 2-3 months, then from this root the new plants develop. So that is why in dahlia the root tuber act as the vegetative propagule, and it helps in the production of the new plant and continuation of the generation by the process of asexual reproduction. Now look at this figure. Now this is the beauty of the nature. Look at this leaf and how the new plants or the new plantlets they normally grows from the notches of this bryophyllum leaf. So here the bryophyllum leaf, of course the stem is there, root is there, but the leaf, it acts as the vegetative propagule, or it acts as the main part of the plant which help for the production of the new plant through asexual mode of reproduction. So that is why the bryophyllum is the plant which normally produce their new plants or the new young plant through the nodes of the bryophyllum leaf. So that is why here the leaf acts as the vegetative propagule and it helps in the production of the new plant by the asexual method.